Hello everybody and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. As you can see, we have hit the teenage years. We are all teenagers on many hormones, hence why my rebellion is super far. And finally Tammy's here with us, and we need to talk to her first. Because somebody said in the comments they don't even remember what her teen looks like because, you know, she's not around very much. So let's see. Oh, she looks so beautiful! Tammy, you're such a sweetheart! Tammy looks worried. She's hugging herself and pacing around. Every now and then her attention turns sharply towards the east wall. Are you okay, Tammy? She's relieved to see you. There's something out there, she says in a quiet voice. Lots of somethings outside the walls. I think they're far away, but I can hear them. What do they sound like? It's like, she struggles to describe the sound, squeaking, super high-pitched, really long sounds, like metal or like a broken robovac scraping along the floor, only there are hundreds of them. You shudder at the thought. My dad said he picked these ears as my augmentation to keep me safe, she sniffs, but all they do is make me scared. I hate my stupid ears. She bats at them with her fists, tears springing to her eyes. It's okay to be scared. She gives you a long, searching look. My dad always says being scared is an opportunity to do something brave, but... I don't want to say they're funny looking, that feels mean. But saying you're lucky makes it sound like she should be more grateful. I don't really like either of these options. Oh, really? You think so? She lets you lean in close for a good look at her enormous elf-like ears. You wonder what it must be like to have such sensitive hearing. Can she hear the grass growing? Can she hear your heartbeat? They're beautiful, just like the rest of you. Tammy blushes to the tips of her ears and shyly stammers, Thanks, Yabby. You imagine yourself running a finger along the curve of her lovely ears. But stop yourself. Yeah, not yet, not yet. Please don't let my dad know I said I didn't like my ears, she says. Tammy is such a caring girl. It's unfair she has to suffer from her sensitive hearing, but so sweet that she doesn't want to be a burden. She gives you a big, warm hug and says she's going to head inside soon because it's nice and quiet in there. You leave her rubbing one of her ears thoughtfully. Aww. Oh, it's birthday cake time! Thank you! As always, you're amazing. Alright, let's see. Let's help in the kitchens. You and Tammy often work together in the kitchen. She splits her time between helping it and with the children in helping her in the kitchens. Tammy is a diligent worker, though she sometimes gets a little lost because she wants everything to be nice and perfect when you're trying to get 100 meals out the door. She always does what she's told with a smile, and has been patient as you learned your way around the kitchen and you're starting to really get a feel for cooking. On the menu today is something Aunt Anne and Congruence call a white sauce, a creamy pale sauce usually made with flour, milk, and butter. She wants a big vat of it to serve with dinner today, and she's charged you with figuring out how to replicate it. Wheat flour is in short supply here on Vertumna, but you have a lot of taro flour. The real problem will be adjusting the recipe to use plant-based milks and oils instead of dairy. There wasn't enough room on the stratospheric for bringing livestock. Just be careful you don't burn it, Aunt Anne cautions you before she leaves. It's very sensitive to burning. You look over to Tammy. Well, she stammers, tapping her finger against her chin. We can use soy milk from the food dispenser and cooking oil, but I'm worried I'm going to burn it. I always mess stuff up. When Tammy improvises in the kitchen, things usually go wrong. You have no reason to think this time will be any different. How about I give you a hand? Tammy smiles and blushes. Oh, okay, Yabby. She bustles off to get the ingredients. You both consult Congruence on the original Earth recipe, but after a while, it's clear Tammy is cooking absolute circles around you. You were wary about substituting so many ingredients, but one of Tammy's strengths is that she's totally fearless in the kitchen. She'll try anything twice. She hums and sways from foot to foot as she stirs the sauce completely at ease. An hour later, Tammy has a small portion of prototype sauce to taste. Because of the taro flour, the white sauce is actually more of a faint purple. It's a pretty color, especially on Tammy, who has it flecked across her apron and up onto her tied-back hair. She looks proud, and a little worried. What do you think? You dip the back of the spoon in the sauce and give it a try? It's good! Like, really good! Your surprise must show on your face because Tammy laughs with relief. Oh, I'm so glad, she says, clasping her hands in front of her chest. I thought we did okay, but I wasn't sure. I'll help make a huge pot of it right away. Thanks for your help. Your lilac sauce causes a huge stir at dinner, but it doesn't feel right taking any of the credit. Tammy did most of the work, and she deserves to feel the pride you feel radiating off of her from the other side of the lunch line. Yes, she does! I'm glad we're getting that confidence up. She's very talented, and I want her to know it. She's gotta know how awesome she is. Tammy! Hello, Tammy stammers as you greet her. I have a question to ask you. You ask if this has something to do with that list she keeps of her friends' favorite things. Sort of, she gulps. So, what's your type? Oh! A sweet, sensitive girl with cute ears. Oh, that sounds nice, Tammy says, then startles. Her hands fly up to her face, which go completely red, even up to the tippy tips of her ears. Oh, you mean... She gasps and turns away. Yabby, okay. I've been thinking, she says, that my type is someone strong, but also sensitive and kind and thoughtful. She hesitates and then just smiles and shakes her head. You wonder if she's thinking of Cal, because the two of them seem destined to be together since they were kids. Never mind, she says. It's, not that interesting. It is. Everything about you is interesting. I love you. Love me. I'm really working overtime this run. Keeping up with 3 different people and ignoring the others. Found him. Haha, you've gotten caught again. Every time I catch you. Oh? You see Tammy stumbling down the path from the depot, struggling to carry a large wooden box. The box looks to be stuffed with rolls of paper and other craft detritus. Give her a hand. You jog over and take one side of the box. Oh, hi, Tammy chirps. Thank you. It's not heavy, just awkward, and together you carry it easily into the creche. Tammy sets down the box inside the lounge and smooths out her skirts. Goodness, she exclaims. There's more and more every year. She reaches into the box and pulls out a floppy-headed puppet. Oh, kindness. They were always my favorite, Tammy says, stroking its long pink hair. Do you remember putting on Gratitude Day skits when we were kids? It's hard to forget. Once a year on the Stratospheric, all the adults would cook a big meal and talk about how grateful they were for things like the oxygen recycler working and babies being born. And then the kids would put on a puppet show about the beginnings of the Vertumna Project. All the puppets had allegorical names like kindness or courage or curiosity. You remember some years you could get a little creative with the details. You heard the adults talk about how there used to be a similar feast day back on Earth, but whenever you've asked about it, they all say that it is the way they do it now is way better for some reason. You nod, and Tammy smiles fondly as she pulls out more puppets. Oh, here's hope! And resilience, too! Oh, that's ironic. Resilience needs a little bit of love before she's ready for the stage. Tammy runs her fingers over Resilience's loose button eyes. I think Anemone was the very best Resilience, she says thoughtfully. Do you remember when she and Mars both wanted to play Resilience, so they drew straws and Anemone had to play Ingenuity? She was great at breaking stuff. Oh my gosh, I thought Tangent was going to light Anemone on fire with her mind, Tammy exclaims, pressing her hands to her cheeks. She always wanted to be Ingenuity. What was your favorite part? Tammy's cheeks darken. I liked working on the set and puppets with Cal, she says, touching her fingertip to her lips. I was always too worried I would mess up my lines. Do you remember Deese's song about Earth? He never sang the same lyrics twice, Tammy says, then sighs. I was so sad when he stopped wanting to take part. I wonder what happened. And when the stage puppet collapsed? Tammy gasps, and we all had to stand there and act like it was a play? Oh no, that was the worst. Ah, those were fun times. Tammy folds her hand over her heart and sighs. I'm so happy we still have all these old dolls. Some of the littlest kids don't even know we used to do this, and I can't wait to teach them. Aw, the old traditions. And now we can do them on Vertumna. Ooh, Tammy tries to concoct a cake using blep tea as a flavoring. She says that people on Earth used to make cakes using bitter coffee, but you're not sure. It turns out okay. You don't think you'd try it if Tammy didn't ask. The adults are delighted to have a little snack to drink with their tea in the mornings. Babysitting. Might as well do it one more time because I believe we're going to stay in the creche Because if this is the year I'm thinking of, we need to be here to make sure we can save Tammy. Oh, yep, here we go. I'm gonna stay indoors. Watch holovids with the young ones. Somehow, even with the sirens blaring, some of the youngest drift off in your arms. After an hour, someone in the defense squad rushes in and orders everyone to leave the creche. The battle is getting close to the stratospheric. Before you can even get everyone to their feet, you feel the ship lurch and resettle at a different angle. Something is attacking the ship itself. Tammy tries to gather the young kids, but they're scattered in terror. You're both trying to grab Nougat when, without warning, the entire wall of the creche just peels away like a tin can, letting in a rush of cold night air tinged with the ozone of blast rifle fire. You look up and see it, up close, face to... the Faceless! Hello! Long time no see. It has no face. In place of a face, or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mess of writhing pink tentacles and blinking eyes. Anemone and her brother Com are among the security squad, trying wildly to divert it away from the living quarters. It smashes into the ship again and roars, calling up a terrible noise from somewhere within its seeping wet craw, and Tammy screams, "Tammy! She's fallen on the angled floor and is sliding towards the maw of the Faceless! Fight your fear and save Tammy! You will not die!" Well, I know, I'm pretty sure from what I from what I heard from people, you can't die, but you can get injured, and we don't want that either. Up, 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 up. You crawl on your hands and knees down to the steep slope of the floor towards Tammy. She and Nougat are clinging to the wreckage of the wall, wide-eyed and terrified as you approach. You grab Tammy and Nougat and help them stumble to safety. The Faceless is too focused on tearing the ship apart to even notice you. Your dad ushers you into the engineering wing, where you cower with the others, trying not to panic. All around you, the metal screams and buckles and great tremors vibrate through the ship. Finally, after what seems like hours, the noises stop. Your mom returns with more of a limp than usual. "It's gone," she whispers to your dad in despair. "It's all gone." The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. You can't forget what you saw. Oh yeah, one of these days we really need to try and save Uticott. I've never done that. You know what? We'll try and do that in Mars's run, because since Mars is the governor person. The first month of quiet passes, each day plodding one after another. You continue to have trouble sleeping in the classroom barracks, but there's just nowhere else to go. Every day you wake with the others and try to make the best of it. Grief and anger comes in waves, not just for you, but for everyone. Some days are better than others. A mass funeral is held for people who died in the attack. Usually the family and close friends would assemble in the recycling room and watch as their loved one was placed into the organics recycler, but there are too many dead this time. Their bodies are laid out in neat rows instead of in the canteen instead. More dead people than you've ever seen at once, outside of a holovid. Uticott usually leads the colony funerals. Instead, her frail body lies under a pale blue sheet among the dead. Chief Administrator Seek leads the ceremony. When Com's name is mentioned, Anemone lets out a choking sob and throws her arm around her mother and her remaining brothers. "Why did he have to die?" she wails, her grief punctuating the otherwise solemn crowd. "It's not fair! It's not fair!" Aunt Anne tries to calm her down, but Anemone breaks away and runs over to Com's body. No one has the heart to stop her. She rests her head on his unmoving chest, giving him one last hug. After the names are read and the bodies are moved to the recycling room, people gather for an informal memorial. It's awkward at first with the lingering miasma of grief heavy on everyone's thoughts, but eventually someone breaks out a guitar and the tension ebbs. Your mom stays until the particle disintegrators have finished their work, then slips away to deliver the remains back to the soil. Follow her. You go with your mom to deliver the organic remains to the compost heap. You watch her respectfully tip them into the precious brown dirt that remains, then help her turn it with rakes to incorporate them, literally, into the future of the colony. She stands with you when you're done, offering them one last moment of silent thanks. On Earth, they used to say, "Ashes to ashes, dust to dust," your mom says. Some kind of religious thing, I never learned why. But I like knowing that everything I took from the ground so that I could live, I'll get to give back one last time. Aw, that was sweet with our mom. We got to help her bury the dead. Mourn. Work has begun on clearing out the destroyed half of the stratospheric. You almost don't recognize your family's quarters as you explore it with a flashlight on your hollow palm. The warm, comforting space you called home for 15 years looks so alien out of context, but also completely ordinary in that strangeness, just like every other family suite you've crawled through. You grew up here, evenings with your parents curled up in your bunk while they laughed and talked into the night, your dad reading to you, doing the silly voices, your mom, stern and distant as she sometimes could be, relaxing as she walked through these doors and stopped being chief cultivator. Look for my personal belongings. Most of what you find isn't worth keeping, bedding soaked with acidic snows, photos that have been bleached white, clothing you don't care about. Almost everything would serve the colony better by being recycled. You do find something worth keeping, though. Your old sports ball, the one you and Anemone learned with. Her brother taught you both how to play. Now you'll never see him again. You hold the sports ball close to your chest and grieve all over again for Calm and for Anemone. You sit on what used to be your bunk and look up at the torn-open ceiling. Far overhead, the swirling spark snow seems to blend in with the lilac-gray sky. Everything is perfectly quiet, save for the groaning of the ship swaying and settling. It's just you and the memories of the place where you grow up, a place you'll never set foot in again. A rustling from down the hall catches your attention. Tammy pokes her head into your room, her shoulders sagging when she sees you. "There you are," she says. "Are you okay?" "Oh," she looks around. "This is your quarters, isn't it?" Tammy takes a seat next to you, swinging her feet over the edge of the bunk. You can barely see her in the dim light, but her presence is comforting. My dad used to say that fixating on everything that could go wrong was my way of preparing for it," she says tentatively. "Like, I'd worry about everything, so if it happened, I wouldn't be surprised." She stares down at her feet dangling over the edge. "I guess there's something so big and scary you don't even know you're supposed to be scared of them. I'm not even frightened of what's going to happen next anymore, I'm just tired." You both lapse into silence, content to watch the dust motes drift lazily through the light from your hollow palm, until it's time to head back. This place isn't home anymore. There's no going back to the way things were. Alright, and as always, here they are. They've arrived! Time to completely ignore them and only focus on Tammy still. Alright, and then, I don't want to share this planet. "I don't mind sharing," Tammy chimes in. "They might just be from Earth, but they're still human. They'd probably just be scared, like we were when we came through the wormhole." Alright, future time! Into the future! Cal is building some trellises in the garden. "Hey, Gabby," he says. "Can you pass me that thing?" You push one of the supporting beams into position and he hammers it together. He hangs from the top beam, kicking his feet before dropping to the ground. "There, stable as anything." He dusts off his hands. "I'm glad you found me. I was talking to Tammy earlier and she said some things, about you, and it got me thinking." He looks around, making sure you're alone. "Look, you and her, you don't like her or anything, right?" "Yeah, I do!" Cal looks stunned. "But I've been into her forever, dude. I love her. You know that. Tammy can make her own decisions." Yeah, I mean, of course, but..." Cal stutters and then looks down ashamed. "Yeah, obviously." He goes quiet for a long time. Like, a long time. You can hear the lowing of a float cow in the distance. "I guess you two'd be good together, too," he says, finally heaving a wet sigh. "You are one of my best friends, after all. I guess I just kind of thought..." He scuffs his foot in the dirt. "I guess I kind of took her for granted. I just assumed. I'm not even sure she likes me, too. She's so shy, but she talks about you all the time." Oh, this sounds so mean, but... Oh, this is why we needed the high friendship. Tammy and I are endgame buddies, sorry. "Oh," Cal says, almost. "I got an achievement for that. Come between them. I feel so bad. But I have to do it. Tammy's mine this run, Cal. Next time, she can date you, but not right now. I worked hard for this, buddy." "Oh," Cal says, almost too quiet to hear. "Oh, well, okay." He clenches his fists. But you have to promise you'll take care of her, okay? You always gotta be nice to her, and I mean really nice, or I'll know, and you're gonna have to protect her, and always tell her that things are going to be okay because she gets scared easily. And her favorite kind of soy sweet is the yellow kind that tastes like lemons, and she really likes it when you rub behind her ears." Cal's tears finally spill over, and he wipes them away stubbornly. "Just be good to her, okay? You promise you will, and Cal leaves before you can see him crying even more. That did not feel good. Oh man, I knew we were gonna have to, like, come between them in order to date Tammy, but I didn't know it would hurt that bad. Alright, well, whatever. What's done is done. And now, Tammy and I can date. And also, I can perform a random act of kindness. Congruence, the ship's tireless AI, has attended every birthday but has never had one of her own. Tammy comes up with the idea to throw Congruence a surprise party. Sure, she doesn't have a birthday like you do, so you make one up. It's today! Hooray! There's no hiding from Congruence, though. She sees everything in the colony, including you two setting up. But she still pretends to be absolutely delighted when Tammy presents her with her cake, a collection of solar converters tied together with an electrical cord. Aw, that's so sweet. Oh, it's a beautiful day, and you spot Tammy outside of the lounge enjoying the sun. Her father, Tonin, is there as well, with a supportive hand on her shoulder. She waves excitedly as you approach. Yabby, guess what? Dr. Instance approved me for artificial insemination once I turn 18. I can have a baby. You knew that Tammy wanted to be a parent, but so soon? She's only a year older than you are. Seeing her sitting there, kicking her bare feet in the grass, you can't believe how young she looks. And how very happy, just beaming from ear to ear. Wanting to be a mother, Tammy smiles at her dad. It's one thing. It's maybe the only thing I've ever really been sure of. The funny thing is, Tammy muses, I know I should feel scared, but I don't. I know I've been scared my whole life, she laughs quietly to herself, but when I think about being a mother, I only feel calm. Like I can be brave, I can do anything, as long as it's for my baby. Tammy's father gives her shoulder a squeeze, and she leans against him. Even when I was younger, and I took care of the children in the old creche, if they cried or were scared, that was the only time I wasn't afraid. She shakes her head. Isn't that funny? You're stronger than you think. Maybe, is this what it feels like to have a purpose? Tammy wonders. Oh, so she gets approved at age, like, dang, age 15. So she's been prepared for a while. It's cool, because I remember in one of the other runs where I was dating her, she doesn't, since I wasn't talking to her, even though I did save her, we found out during the, what was it? The, oh yeah, the Vertumnan thing with, or Vertumnalia. We found out with Vertumnalia with everyone else, but she told us ahead of time. Oh, there's no babysitting anymore? Where's the babysitting? Where'd it go? Well, we could do tutoring, right? Ah, I need reasoning 30. Oh, I'm only 3 off, so we can do that later, but let's help in the kitchens for now. Alright, now time to go talk to... Sim. We need to talk to Sim, and I also want to find some gifts for my beloved. Ooh, egg. Achoo! Egg! Alright, it's Vertumnalia. Oh! With Tammy standing beside you, you wonder if the two ships will ever feel like a colony. Oh, does it change depending on who your bestie is? Because I swear it was decent other time. Oh. Ah! I can't do the bake-off! Hang on, I'm going back. I'm going back in time. I want to get organizing because I'm pretty sure the bake-off is what Tammy's gonna do. Alright, attempt number 2. I just did organizing twice and then explored and found Sim again. Bake-off! The bake-off is a new challenge this year and celebrate- Oh, so that's what Cal does afterwards. It makes sense because he doesn't want to do Xeno wrangling. The bake-off is a new challenge this year in celebration of the great surplus of food. Today's theme is chili, spicy bean stew. Not pixie beans, though. Tammy and Cal both compete. Tammy makes a simple but pleasing stew, and Cal adopts a gourmet earth dish with alien ingredients. They're very comfortable working around each other in the kitchen, always coming over to help and give encouragement. My turn! I've never done the bake-off before. We're gonna have to do it every year until Lum cancels it like the jerkwad he is. There we go. You make a chili that is so perfectly balanced, one of the judges cries. And not just from the spice level, you win the cooking competition. I'm so good at cooking. After the festivities, the mood in the colony is a lot lighter, and you see people smiling easier, and often see mixed groups of Helios and Stratos socializing together. Feels like the first time people have actually let themselves relax. With my cooking. Well, probably not with my cooking. That would just make them cry, which I guess could also help people express themselves. Aunt Anne comes bursting into the kitchen carrying a large crate. Special delivery, children. She sets the crate down on the prep table and sticks her hand inside. It's time to do my very favorite thing in the kitchen, figuring out new ways to cook fresh food. You grew up eating soy rations, tasteless but nutritious. The hydroponics aboard the ships never made enough to feed everyone, so fresh food was a luxury. Anne's always excited to try her hand at real cooking. With a flourish, she pulls from the box an alien plant you've never seen before. It's pale blue-green oblong and looks about the size of her forearm. It hits the cutting board with a disturbingly meat-like slap and immediately starts oozing slime onto the surface. Your father finally cleared this friendly little fruit for human consumption, Aunt Anne says. It doesn't even have a name yet. You could come up with something fitting while you figure out how to use it. You look dubiously at the weird fruit as you watch it glorp out a fresh wave of slime. Anne catches your disgusted expression and laughs. I'm sure we can think of something to do with it, Tammy says, clasping her hands nervously in front of her chest. She doesn't look enthusiastic as usual, but she manages to chirp, It looks really fresh. So I don't think that's edible, or I'll try it. Oh no. I'll try it. You bisect the weird fruit. The goop seems to come from ducks under its thick skin, not the creamy yellow fresh inside. You pop a piece in your mouth. It's kind of sweet, like aloe, crunchy and gooey at the same time. You give Tammy a thumbs up, but she's still too scared to touch it. Actually, new things are pretty scary, she says, without a trace of embarrassment. Can't we just use it for compost? Yeah, new thing's scary. Oh, Aunt Anne is waiting for you in the kitchen when you arrive. There's a strange new smell in the air. Tammy is standing the furthest she possibly can from the stove, her hand bunched up in her apron. She catches your eye and shakes her head, looking distraught. Ah, you're here, Anne says. I wanted to tell you something before you get started today. She gestures you over to the stove, where an enormous yellow pot of stew is boiling cheerfully. As you know, the colony was founded on vegetarian principles, she says. Raising animals for their meat on Earth was... well, it wasn't very nice, and it took up a lot of Earth's resources. Soil and water and feed that we couldn't bring with us on a spaceship. You nod. Though there are animals on the ranch that produce milk or syrup or high-protein berries, you've never actually cooked meat. Well, Anne continues, humans have been eating animals for a lot longer than we've been farming them. We used to hunt animals for food and for their furs. Sometimes the ranchers have to slaughter an animal and, well, some of the foragers. Tammy can't take it anymore. They've been bringing back dead animals, Yabby, she exclaims, horrified. Andy wants us to cook and serve them in the canteen. Anne holds her hands, warding off your concerns. I know you might find this idea uncomfortable. I want you to remember that this is no different than what would happen to them in the wild. Most animals are eaten by other animals. Meat is good and healthy for us, she adds, and we need to take advantage of every possible food source. That means, of course, we're not going to waste any part of the animal. Even the bones can be boiled to make stock. Tammy turns a little pale at the thought. Anne sets her hand on your shoulder. Ask Congruence for a tutorial on butchering and preparing animals, and follow her instructions. It needs to be cooked to a certain temperature to make sure it's safe to eat. I've already started this stew to save you some time, she says. While it's simmering, you can start learning on what you'll need to know for tomorrow. With that, she kisses you on the forehead and bustles out of the room. Tammy looks at you nervously. This is wrong, she says quietly. Like always, Anne has left you to manage things in the kitchen without her help. What do you do with this power? Alright, let's see. Sabotage the stew, embrace your meaty destiny, or negotiate for a vegetarian option. Can we negotiate? You hollow Aunt Anne in the creche. You tell her what you're not serving the stew unless there's a vegetarian option. It's not right to force the other people in the colony to eat meat if they're uncomfortable with the idea. She smiles broadly. Of course, Sunshine, that's a wonderful idea. Why don't you get started on the other stew right now, and make sure both pots are well labeled so everyone can make their own choice. You make a lot more work for yourself, but you're sure it's the right thing to do. Tammy helps you out by making nice labels while you chop up the ingredients for the vegetable stew. They turn out really nice. "Thanks for sticking up for me, Abby," she says while she colors. "I'm glad there will be something for me to eat." "Oh, good. There should be an option. Like, I know that the food is scarce, or at least, it shouldn't be. Well, it is because everything got destroyed right now. That's true. But there should still be an option for some people, because everyone here has grown up on pretty much a vegetarian diet, and introducing meat like that, as someone who has been a vegetarian before and gone back to eating meat, it will screw with your stomach. I was so not good the first time I had meat again. But maybe that's just me. My stomach hates me. So. Alright, yeah, I'm applying to be a tutor because that seems like something we can do. I don't know if I ever finished it. I was more focused on engineering last time, I believe. Alright, here we go. I will still go to the lounge. Let's see, where's Tammy? The only two missing are Cal and Tammy. Wait, where are they? Oh, hang on. If I work at the Geophonics, will I be with them? I want to find out. Alright, rushing outside didn't work. I guess I can't hang out with them, so I'll stay here. Alright, and we are safe. But are we, though? We may never know. Alright, well, talk about a double whammy of an episode. Not only did we get to the teenage years, we had the Helios arrive, and we also broke Cal's heart, but it had to be done, Only this run, and we won't do it again. I promise. Hopefully. I've promised things before, haven't I? Oh well. But we'll see. But, that is where we're going to end it for today. Until next time, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourselves, get the girl and feel bad about it, and have a good day.